Ho ho! I don't know what feeling you leave with today, because the team's image tonight has nothing to do with what we saw in the defeat against Celta. Courtois has spoken, Asensio has spoken, Rodrygo has spoken. Do you feel that support from your players after what you saw out there today?
Yes, as you said, it was a very, very hard-fought match with different phases. We actually started really well with Rodrygo's goal, with a few other chances, doing what we wanted to do. And when you're not at your strongest emotionally, when you know the situation we're in, well, in 10 minutes they got ahead with very little, a corner and then the penalty. But the team kept trying. They didn't lose the game at any moment. In the second half, right until the end, we pushed despite all the difficulties we're living with. Injuries, players giving literally their last breath. So today I have nothing to reproach. I'm very grateful for their attitude, for the day-to-day work with the players. We have to keep going. This is the Champions League. Of course, we wanted more. The results in November and December aren't what we want. We're demanding, we're self-critical, we understand the fans, but we have to keep working and believing that things will turn, because everything eventually does. And I'm convinced we can make it happen.
You said the team gave everything despite the absences. Do you feel they perform better in big matches like this, in terms of intensity and attitude, like a Champions League match against Manchester City? But then something is missing in games like the one against Celta or the one coming on Sunday versus Alaves. How can you change that?
Yes, being more consistent in our performances is definitely one of our objectives. Regardless of the opponent or the competition, we need to focus on what depends on us and what we can control. Today was a Champions League match against a very good team, and things went their way, but we created enough to draw, and honestly, anything could have happened. The team had concentration, rhythm. The first 30 minutes we played really well. We scored Rodrygo's goal. He had a very, very good match. We created more chances. And until the end, the team did what we can ask of them. Keep trying, don't give up. The players gave everything. Now we look forward with what we have.
Yesterday, in this same room, we asked Guardiola for a message of advice to you from someone with his experience on how to turn this situation around. He said you should die with your ideas, essentially. I wanted to ask if you feel you're dying with your ideas.
I have a very good relationship with Pep. We know each other well, and he knows exactly what he meant by that. I don't need to add anything or comment further.
People say the team gave everything, but the Bernabéu still whistled at the end. How do you interpret that?
It's normal. It's not something new here. When you don't win at home, it can happen. But there were other moments during the game when the fans supported us. We felt that energy they knew the team needed. They pushed us. And then at other phases or at the end, if they whistle, we understand it. We have to accept it as normal because the expectations here are absolute. We want to turn the moment around. We need to recover emotionally and physically. Hopefully the injured players can come back. There's still a long way to go. You might paint things one way, but we need to stay calm because this is a long season and things can change in not too long.
You say we journalists paint things differently, but if you analyze the results of the past weeks, they could definitely be better.
No, the results are what they are. That's a fact, objective and neutral. The interpretation you make of them is another thing.
I mention it because this constant rhythm of press conferences combined with bad results puts you on a tightrope. How are you personally handling this situation?
Well, this isn't a new situation for many coaches. You have to live with it. When you're the coach of any club, and even more so at Real Madrid, you must be ready to face these moments with composure, responsibility, and self-criticism, of course. That's where we are. But we also know things can change, and anything can happen. And today, despite the result, I saw positive things collectively and individually. Other things didn't go so well, but we're there.
I don't know if in the last hour or 45 minutes after the game, you've been able to see the president, and if he shared his thoughts on the team today.
No, we haven't crossed paths. I had the flash interviews and came straight here.
I wanted to ask if, after Hendriki's 30 minutes today, you regret the way you've managed him.
He played well and made a good impact. The match needed a player who could bring energy. We spoke yesterday about his situation and he was close to scoring, so it's definitely a good sign.
Rodrygo scored and ended a long streak without scoring. You hugged him. I want to ask about that hug. I assume he was thanking you for your trust. Was that hug also important for you? Was it important for you to feel the support of the dressing room?
What I liked today was Rodrygo's match. The goal was a consequence of many other things he did really well. It was one of the very positive things today. Seeing Rodrygo with such individual quality, such dribbling, such danger. And he scored, which was important for him. We know his level, and it was great to see. And yes, I feel the players' support. We're together every day in Valdebebas preparing the matches. I like that personal connection, that closeness. And today, with Rodrygo's goal and the hug, it was something positive.
You said the team had concentration, rhythm, and gave everything. Are you convinced you'll see the same team this Sunday in Vitoria?
Our focus and our preparation for every match is to compete as best as possible. And that requires not only technical and physical quality, but mental quality. Intensity is fundamental today, and we'll need it against a very good opponent on Sunday. Alaves away. We know that.
Beyond today's result, was the reaction and attitude of the team the most important thing? That even with the 1-2, the team showed intensity and commitment. Do you feel this could be a turning point?
Time will tell. Right now, the result is still very fresh. The emotions are still very raw. But today, the team tried. There were phases where we played well, others where we can correct things. But the intention to compete, to play, to go for the win in a very high-level Champions League match was positive.
I wanted to ask about Mbappé, the big name in the pre-match discussion. He was in the squad list at 2 p.m., but he didn't warm up and stayed on the bench. I assume you knew he couldn't play. How is he? Could he play in Vitoria?
It's still too early to say if he'll make it for Sunday. We have to go day by day. But today, clearly he wasn't ready to play. If he had been, he would have played. And well, when he's not on the pitch, of course you miss him. We had enough chances to score a second goal, but sometimes when it's not your day, nothing goes in.
Many questions yesterday were about whether the players were playing for you or not. Does their performance today give you answers?
I think I've had that answer many times already. Their performance today had intensity. They were professional. We knew it was the Champions League. They gave the best of themselves, and in that sense, I'm satisfied. Even though we're not happy with another defeat, we at least tried.
You already spoke about Rodrygo's performance and the hug after his goal, but it wasn't just the goal. His defensive work and dribbling were excellent. What changed for him?
I think Rodrygo was one of the positive things tonight. Not just when he had the ball, but also defensively. He gave the team balance in transitions. And when we managed to get him into central areas, he made a big difference. His goal was the consequence of many good things he did today. I'm happy for him, and it's important he maintains this level. I'm sure he'll keep improving. I think we're on the right path, and we have to keep pushing him to grow. From my side, I'll tell him he did a great job.